just wanted to open that up about where we are in present time and what it sounds like, what it is and what it's not, so we can, because we can, I don't want to miss some key practical points here, that what this again is refining what we thought was happening versus what is happening. There's a difference there. What is happening, make no mistake, there is a government being birthed. And much grace for immaturity to mature to the realization of what it is as a vibration. Has there been some short-sightedness? Absolutely. Until we can see teleologically, we're going to be short-sighted. The language slips under your feet to fortify or resolve. That's the lovely and the bitter in the language. That's why it's called the bittersweet. It's because you go through much bitter and then all of a sudden, aha, behold the sweet stuff of authority that you had to build with your own hand. But it doesn't make it easy. And so have we misstepped? Oh, yes. Have we misspoken? Oh, yes. Absolutely. This is part of the wrestle. This is where we fortify trust in one another. And this is how family bonds. And so I hear what Carrie's saying, and it's lovely. And I know there's much frustration and pain and suffering, not just on this end, on that end as well. There's many that are viewing right now that once upon a time this was said, and we this is the nature of who we are. We're looking for a resolve, and we allow projection to come in to define. That's what we're trying. That's what I'm trying to show right now. Is like when Carrie's edifying that, is like if we're present and we're in our now, then nothing else matters. And I'm not saying selfish self. That's not what I'm saying here, because a priest knows that he serves self so he can serve another. It's a very high frequency of discipline. And so when we focus on ourselves, we put away all this nonsense. It's very difficult for us to reach into the white and black fire of mother and father and try to bring out a message and work the high wire between what is and what is not. Do we speak in faith, saying that there's a government coming, and do I capture this? I've seen something. Do I hold it, or do I release this? And so it has the potential to form as a reality. It still is forming. It's forming. It is forming. So it is happening. And thankfully, we're able to see the missteps and all the things that haven't occurred yet. That's grace to me.
Well, and again, like I was saying, everything that I was looking forward to was all the external. And when I say looking forward to, is like the future of this outward reality that's being projected. You know,
Right.
and I always say, when is the shoe going to drop? When is the shoe going to drop? Which we've been talking about the mirror. So for me, it was like, when is this mirror of the shoe going to drop based on what's going on the inside of me? And so I realized a while ago that I needed to stop creating that chaos. And unfortunately, we don't want to be adding to that. We have all kinds of English interpretations of the Bible, of end time doomsday prophecies that actually people think are a playbook that the controllers in the outside world are going from as a playbook. And what I'm saying and have been saying is that many of us are giving our creator abilities over to it so that it is happening, because we have looked at the words, we have connected to them with our heart through fear. And because fear and love have the same level of vibratory frequency, they're just different poles. One's negative, one's positive. As far as energy goes, think of a battery terminal. They both are strong emotion. They both create. So we can take all of these words, collapse them down, and show a new reality so that we can attach gratitude and love. Or we can take the old words in English, take a look at them, put the intention of fear in them, and then manifest. Because I'm saying that by us externally giving the powers that be, they're doing it as a playbook, I'm giving away my power. I'm saying that I am powerless to do anything about it because they're doing it as a playbook and they're making it happen. This and that and the other thing. I just gave my power away completely to an outside entity to bring chaos in my life. So I'm having to look personally within this vessel of what I was looking at for the shoe to drop when I was sowing my creator abilities into that and making it happen. So perhaps part of that in the shoe not dropping is because I've been collapsing words and filling them back up so that I'm creating in love instead of chaos. And that's really what this whole thing is about. So anything that comes from my mouth, I can't speak for Ken. I mean, we're together as a unit, but for me, I don't want to bring, because this is me projecting on you so I can look at myself. I don't want to bring chaos in your life. And if I'm speaking about something that's in the future, that's causing anxiety, then that means we're not living in the now. If I'm talking about something in the past, that is causing depression because we can't change yesterday. We only have the now present moment. So whatever will be is in this moment, in this exact moment that we are creating together right now. Not what I'm creating tomorrow, not what I'm creating tonight, because that's in the future. I'm not going to have anxiety about what's going to happen tonight or tomorrow, because all I have right now is this now moment. So please, as we extend each other grace, please extend me grace in bringing these teachings forward to you. I have a very, very busy life. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and I'm honestly doing the best I can for you guys. And there's things that happen unforeseen in my day, and I'm in my working time in presenting these things to you that make them difficult. You know, for those of you who want to charge ahead, I've shared with you guys where you can go to get information on the basic. I'm going to be going much deeper in my teachings, but all the basic information is out there. It's always been out there. It's been out there for years. How do I know? Because I found it. So did Ken. So if we can find it, you all can find it. And I know that some people have said that because there's answers that we haven't been providing, that it's gone people on a goose chase. Well, it's the same goose chase that we went on. Trust me, we went down very, very different alleys and avenues to try to get things and gather things and assemble things. And some things we threw away because it didn't serve us. And Spirit was helping us navigate those rivers. And we're wanting to bring flow to you so that you don't have to spend the time. But there are basic safe places that I share with people to go get the information. And that's why I said Jeff Benner's Ancient Hebrew Resource Center is a great place to start for those of you who are chomping at the bit and might be a little frustrated that I haven't gotten to that place yet to share the letters with you. So really, I'm not asking for hands, but those of you who have made flashcards, namaste. Those of you who have started your notebooks, namaste. That's awesome. Toda rabah. Thank you so much, because that means you've already started. You've already started on it, which is letting me know that there's a desire that you have. I mean, if you're here with, there's obviously a desire. You know, we are having people leave the channel for whatever reason. We're going to be having somebody else leave at the end of the month that I got information on. And so for whatever reason, it's not registering anymore. That's okay. We're not here trying to collect people. We're just trying to share what we have to help you, help us flow in the moment, not creating anxiety or bringing up anything that would cause depression, but us to be in the now moment of gratitude, of joy, of chedutha, of simply gathering together.
Well, and it's difficult in this reality because both Carrie and I have said once upon a time that we were well aware of what we didn't know. And so we stepped off of our platform of that season and that time. And,
oh, yeah.
And one of the biggest things in our revelation was really the fear of the ministry defining me.
Yeah.
Because of us turning around prematurely to say, I know this thing, and by me stopping to turn around to assist, I've really stopped my own progression. And at that point, the ministry has defined me. And that was always a concern to me of how do we keep one hand forward? And this is why Carrie will most likely next week maybe bring the white fire and the black fire about what it is. We still have to go into this unknown of timelessness to pull in by not having another formation. Again, we've shared this before, another formation of someone's breakdown to tell us what it is. And I'm aware my reality is not your reality, as mine is not yours. Let's be fair. This language, I believe, of what we're seeking as a priestly responsibility is self-defined, self-dug, in the revealing of who you are. There's nothing, I can share potentials. And I do this for my wife because this is my job description, is really going into the in between the letters. I go in between the white fire of the letters, but I can't stop. I look at my wife and I'm like, hey, da 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 da, and share. And then she has to turn her chair and assist still and bring the black fire through the letters to assist another. So we're keeping one hand back and one hand forward, going to the expanse and then coming back into our now, turning our chairs around. But we don't want to camp there just to say there's more than the letters. The letters become the vibration of the voice. And so we have to go into this beyond place, and how I sound and how you sound and how Carrie sounds is uniquely different. That's sovereignty. We can only share. And so we have to break free. True governance has to break free of this mold that we think we all, right? For me, tell me what it is. No, that's called oppression again. We're allowing someone else to form us. This is a real thing that yes, there's assistance to say and to share and then to nudge us in a direction to kindle someone's inner fire. That right there is called central fire. That's what heals you. That's why it's the staff of Moshe. Touch this. Touch this central fire. Because in its vibration, you will enter rest. The peace of mind to the peace of heart that becomes tranquil by knowing yourself as present.
So the language is, let me ask you this. Well, I just because I kind of want to have an idea, how many that are here, I mean, if you're not on camera, that's okay, it doesn't matter, but the ones that are on camera, how many of you have tried to break down a word by yourself? Just gone in. Rick has, Heather, Drew, Pamela. I think Patricia has. I think you've broken down, yeah, that you've attempted on some words. Okay, that's good. I know Daryl has. Okay, that's good. That's really good. I'm glad to hear that. But there are more of you that are doing it and have done it than I thought. How many of you found it a little challenging? Yeah, exactly. Pamela's nodding her head and saying, yes, it is challenging. The degree in which it is challenging is the degree in which you know yourself. I really felt that because I know, oh gosh. Taken much time in the languages to share with you that we're all the otiot, we're all the letters, we're all the signs, and having a new language and learning these when you're having to dig out just a single word, you're going into and translating yourself. And that is why when we come and we share verses with you, the whole purpose of it is to translate yourself. So if I'm sharing something with you, and this is why I've kind of pretty much stopped when people ask me to translate verses for them, because it's my own mirror reflection that I'm seeing myself. If I gave a homework assignment and said, hey, can we all just, let's take this word and I want you to begin to define it through the meanings of the letters and how you see it in the definition, we would all have different interpretations of that. We'd have some similarities, don't get me wrong, because the letter frequencies themselves, there are base frequencies that come with it. You know, we know that the Aleph has certain qualities to it and the Bet does. And so we'll all have like this current underneath that is very similar. But the reflection of that which we are translating shows us in the moment who we are and helps us to see one another. So if I'm coming across with a word and I say, here, this is how I see it, and then you show me how you see it, we're mirroring and helping each other to see ourselves through the word. And as fractals of source, it's the same thing, right? It is God, or a fractal of source, that is reflecting its own individuated self so another can see it, so that we can know the totality of what God is. Because our problem is theology. Our problem is that theology has defined these words for us. And we all have this idea of what God is, which was part of what I was going to share today. And I'll wait until Wednesday to share it with you guys. But part of that is we have all of these theological terms that have already predefined them for us. And in some regards, we've picked them up and we've kind of made, if they've had a haphazard way of sharing what that meaning is, then we're defining what these words mean to us, but it may not be what the original intent was, what those words were trying to communicate to us. So it's no wonder why we can't see each other eye to eye, because we have theology dictating to us what these words are meant. And so I can say something to you, you can say it back to me, and we're not even saying the same thing. And then we're trying to fight with each other because the theology, the way I was taught and the way you were taught, we're using the same words, but the meaning behind it, the frequency isn't the same. So even the word God needs to be taken apart. And, we've shared that. We've shared with the Aleph Lamed and Allah and Elohim. But I mean, even the English words, what are the English words and the etymology? And this is why Ken and I have painstakingly dove into these things, because we're just handed something. Here you go. Here you go. And we've taken it and we've eaten of it. And it's become part of our subconscious programming that then we're trying to operate in this world. And all of our subconscious programmings are all different. And we're wondering why we have so much chaos manifesting. Because our subconscious and our consciousness and our heart and our mind aren't even coherent. We don't have coherence within us. How can we expect to have it with another? So in our now space, the biggest thing that I can leave with you today, in not sharing anything with what I was going to share with you, is that in our now space, in our present moment, seeking coherence is more important than anything else, because that's the vibration of love. That is the vibration of perfection and peace. When we're not harmonious and we have dissonance within us, which then creates dissonance with one another, which is chaos. Nobody wants to go to the Philharmonic Orchestra and hear people playing wrong notes, and the string section, the violins and the cellos are in completely different keys. You would never want to go listen to that. That would just be not music to your ears. You'd be covering them and you'd be saying, I want my money back. What the heck happened? Or you have parts of a symphony, and every single part, they all have different pieces of music that they're playing, and they're trying to play them all at the same time. That's chaos. We're trying to bring harmony and coherence to that which is incoherent. So this week has been strong wrestling for me. That's why I'm not surprised that for me personally, I've been fighting this illness, because there's issues like I just want to do the work for all of you guys. I do. I just want to do the work for all of you guys. I just want to get in there, take the verses, translate them, and then just lay my hands on your head and go, there it is. There it is. But there would be absolutely no value to it whatsoever, because you would say, well, that's Carrie's. She gave it to me.
It's not her. It's not your reality.
But it's not yours. And there's a couple verses that I will go into that I found something really revealing. The whole Song of Solomon is one contiguous thought until the last three verses, and it switches gears. And those last three verses, Solomon is basically saying, this is all mine, meaning everything that I expressed is mine. It can't be yours. I found peace because of the work that I did within, because that whole Song of Solomon's is the love song of frequency of his divine masculine and feminine coming together in peace and harmony, coherence. And I hadn't seen it that way before. I mean, but I saw the actual shift and I went, oh my gosh, Here's the end of thought, brand new thought, the last 3 verses. It was basically saying, here's my love story. You can extract all of this esoteric wisdom from it, but this is mine. I'm writing the love story within me. Now you need to go find yours. You need to create it. You need to extract it. You need to translate it yourself. You are translating yourself through every single letter and every single word of every single paragraph on every single page. And I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I need to just stop doing that. Whatever we share in the moment, I know Spirit is saying, share it with these lovely people. Share it with them, because it's in our now space, and it's a now moment of something that Spirit gave us. I am going to continue working on these teachings. You know, some of them take anywhere from 80 to 120 hours for me to complete. And I'm not saying that anything for you guys to pat me on my back. It's just that the behind the scenes work that goes into all of this, so that they can be utilized over and over and over and over again. Because once they're created, they only need to be done one time, just one time. But it takes all those hours to create those things. So please be patient with me. I don't want to put any more pressure on me than that which I already put upon myself. So I'm asking from the outside in, from me asking to you, please don't put any pressure on me on that. Like I said, I've sent you guys many places that you can go gather the basics, so you can start working with the basics. Because trust me, when you start working with the basics, even looking at one word, you will be amazed at the information on the basic knowledge that you have. Just one word will blow your mind. Wow, how insane. And I promise you, we will get there day by day. Every time you meet with us, it'll be something a little bit deeper, something a little bit more, something a little bit meatier. And next week, when I am feeling better, we are going to dive into the white fire, black fire, because this is a very big, amazing topic, and I look forward to bringing it to you. But I just felt like we needed to have this conversation today. And hopefully you'll be able to take something from it. I know that, Michael, this is your first go around with us, but I'm hoping that you can see the heart.
You're actually setting them up to succeed. And I love that it comes back ultimately right to us, and we already know that. Right? Again,
you mean us, like individuated?
Us as sovereign individuals, accountability and responsibility. This is where we get into many problems in self-governance, and then in the world governance as well. But this level of awareness is self-activation, right? It's a language of law. Make no mistake that again, we're going through. We'll said this probably 100 times. I'll probably say it 100 more times. It's a language of law. All that we're doing is sharing from our legal standing. Why a legal standing? Because like Solomon, I am defined by what I have wrote. I am defined by what I have seen. I am defined by the frequency of my own extrapolation. I am resolved in what I see and what I say. And in that frequency, there I am. It's my reflection of my becoming. That's where I speak from. That's why I don't read any other texts, is because it's already told me that, again, the language of translation translates by the law of transaction. It's a binding language that, again,
that actually sets you free.
That sets you free. It's a language of liberty through the language of restraint. Through an activation of discipline, I am transacting what I'm doing.
Through paradox.
Right. And so this language of mirroring, if I was to write something, or you were to write something and it was clever and it was like, whoa, it had a punch to it, like we hear things, and I was just to turn and say, hey, right? And that was as far as it went, just me repeating. There still is potential in that. But I could actually, in the land of ether, I could swipe your DNA to know how resolved you really are with that. It's a code that's within your blood.
That's right.
And this is why I'll be going right to Adam. And that's why I started with Neshton, with the staff of Moshe, with the staff of authority, because there we are in the garden again. I have to be able to take it right back to the garden of Bereshit, of the first encounter, to know why Adam is me, why Hava is me, why Cain is me, and why Abel is me. And that's as far as I need to go in that lineage right there. If I can capture that and express that, I reveal myself as origin. Now that's a little threatening to a lot of people because it still is a narrative that's distant from us and it's an expression of people. But again, my reality is not your reality. This is what it's showing me in my reflection. What is your reflection telling you? That's why people don't comprehend the white fire, is because they haven't spent enough time in the black fire. The white fire is between the letters. And so in my reflection of law, I am now called a self-governed one, because that's what the governance is, self-adjudication. I define myself, not you. I don't do that. I hope, and as a sovereign, I know my own governance well based on my time spent in flexion, reflection, deflection, flexion. I know what I'm mirroring. And this is a real thing. So I know for Carrie and I, we love people, but we love people so much, we have no problem pricking them a little bit to goad them to say, do your work. That's the only way the priesthood is going to rise in this time right now, that the 13th tribe is called the Wilderness Tabernacle standing now, no longer a laid down man. It is the full representation of statute. I made man in the image, in the statute of similitude. That would be a great spot to go to find out what that is, because there's your likeness.